Balance is BS. I wanted to have the little poop emojis in the background, but I couldn't find a frame with them on it. And I don't really say, I don't really swear that much anymore as I've gotten older. It's not that important. Unless I'm really fired up about something and upset about something, then I'll throw out some superlatives and some four-letter words. It might not be four-letter words, but otherwise I don't need to swear to get my point across. Balance is a lie. I feel about balance like I feel about sacrifice and hustle. I think that so many gurus, so many people throw that at us with the this is how you should behave thing. But guess what? There is no how you should behave. You need to do what's right for you. You should always be doing what's right for you. And balance is one of those things that we're led to believe that we can do everything, have everything be balanced and perfect, and we can have these perfect little lives, and it's just not true. Perfect for you is different than perfect for me. Balance for you in any area or every area of your life is different for you than it is for me. Now, I talk about in the Get Up and Go Challenge, there's 7 main areas of aspects of our life. And I created these keys during one of these challenges to remind me of those main areas and aspects of my life. There's the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And each of those areas we talk about in detail because they're really important. And the truth is, what is most important to you is what matters, right? Sometimes our physical well-being is most important to us. All you need is a health challenge in your life to remind you how important taking care of your physical body, your physical well-being, your health, your water, what you eat, what you drink, how much you sleep, how important that is. Our relationships, how we value those is different for each and every one of us. And the cool and interesting thing about these 7 different areas of our life, how much time and energy we devote to them, how much of our personal resources we spend on each and every one of those, not only is different for each of us and falls in a different priority order, but it's different over time. When I had my young kids, when I had my children, guess what? Their well-being and keeping them alive and relationships and family became a lot more important than when I was single and I was, it was just me. And now again, that I'm single again, it's just me. So relationships are maybe more or less important than they were during that time, the time that I was raising my kids. So over time, how much time and energy we spend on things varies, as well as the things that we spend our time on. Now, sometimes we feel like, or at least I used to feel like, especially in my 30s and 40s, that I was one of these spinning plate jugglers and that all I was doing was spinning and spinning and trying to keep the plates spinning in each of the different areas and aspects of my life. And guess what? Sometimes I totally dropped the plate and broke it and didn't really feel that good, but I realized it wasn't really me expecting me to keep all those plates spinning and balanced. It was people outside of me. It was other people, other groups, other people that didn't really matter judging my life, right? Whether it's anyone outside of us judging our life, what they think doesn't matter. Their opinion is their opinion. They get to have their opinion, but I don't have to choose to accept or listen to it or ever be impacted by it. I also realize that if you're perfectly balanced in all areas and aspects of your life, even though some people will try to get you to believe that, you have these different types of journals or these different type of time management systems to balance everything and manage everything in your life and get better at managing time, it really doesn't matter. It's how do you feel that matters. Do you need to spend more time on your relationships? Do you need to spend more time on your physical care, your well-being, taking care of yourself? Do you need to spend more time on your mental well-being, on your thoughts, your beliefs, your thinking? Do you need to spend more time dealing with emotions? If somebody passes away that you love and care about, it's going to require that you go through the grieving process, which is it's in the emotional health area of an aspect of our life. So we'll talk about that during the Get Up and Go Challenge, but realize that if you're balanced and if all these things are balanced, you're probably standing in one place. You're probably not going anywhere, right? If I'm on a balance beam, or if I'm on a tightrope, let's say I'm on a tightrope. We just saw some people doing this. I can't remember what it's called, but they run a rope across from tree to tree, and then they practice walking on these ropes and tight ropes. You're not moving very quickly, right? You're carefully balancing each step as you go along the tightrope. And maybe you want to fall off that tightrope so you can get on a different path, get on a different rope. Maybe you want to fall into the nets and see how freeing it is to actually fall on those bouncy spring nets like we used to see at the circus or at carnivals and things, where people would walk on a tightrope, and then if they happened to fall, they would fall and land in these springy nets. Maybe you want the experience of what it feels like to fall and be caught in this net, so that you can climb off and either do it again or choose to do something different. So I like this topic of balance, but like I said, to me, maybe it's because I'm not very good at balancing. I remember right after my sudden cardiac arrest, I got one of those Wii Fit. It's that Xbox. Is it an Xbox? Well, it's one of those games where you stand on it and you could do different tests to see what your balance was. And at the time I was 50 and I had the balance of like a 78 or 80-year-old woman. And that meant my balance is terrible. And so maybe that's part of why I feel this way about balance. But I just have found that if I am trying to balance all 7 areas and aspects of my life, I am massively overwhelmed, and it's an exercise in frustration because it isn't always possible, and it's not always important. I spend a lot more time on the C, contribution, how I'm impacting the world, legacy, impact, things like that now than I ever have in any other time in my life, because I never had the time and the bandwidth or the capacity to do that when I was younger. Was I doing things that I thought would make the world a better place? Sure. But mostly I was working on my physical well-being. I was working on my mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I was working on my financial well-being and my relationships with my family. So if you're working on 6 different areas and aspects of your life and continually improving in them, sometimes one or another area of your life gets less attention, less energy, less resources, less bandwidth. But I also learned that you cannot totally ignore any of these 7 areas or aspects of your life forever, or for too long a period of time for you. For me, I had a sudden cardiac arrest because for too many years I absolutely positively ignored my physical well-being. And it was a little physical, a little mental, a little emotional, a little spiritual, a little relationship, all culminating together that said, nope, time to wake up and actually pay attention to this area. And mostly it was my physical well-being. I was just absolutely positively ignoring. I was putting it to almost 0 time, energy, effort, and resources. And we can unbalance these areas of our life, but each one of them needs at least a little bit of attention. You know, it's like if you have a plant and you never water it. Say you have 7 plants. Each of these plants represents one of these areas and aspects of your life. The ones that you water and feed and give sunlight to grow. The ones that you don't, if you put a plant under the sink in the dark, if one of these areas or aspects under the sink, your plant's going to die, and it will literally take you out. So that is our setup for success life lesson learned today. Balance is BS. I would love to know what you think and what you feel about this. Do you believe balance? And I'm perfectly excited to hear the other side of this. Have you been able to achieve balance in your life? Perfect balance, perfect harmony, perfect peace, perfect calm. Because I want to know how to do that too, if it's possible. That's it. Have an awesome day, and I will be with you tomorrow with another setup for success life lesson. Have an awesome day.